I am gonna ask for, we're gonna do calls meeting order at exactly 6:06, April 6th, 2016, the second meeting in the winter quarter, 20th meeting of the year. And I will start with roll call. President Hirano.
Present.
Executive Vice President Von Morris is here. Vice President of Campus Internal Affairs, excuse absent, has class. Vice President of External Affairs has class. Vice President of Finance.
Present.
Outreach Director is excused. Personnel Director is absent. Marketing Promotions Director is at class. Elections Director.
Present.
Transfer Non-Traditional Student Director.
Present.
President Pro Tempore.
Here.
Senator.
Hold on. This is new to me.
It's fine.
Thank God. Okay, Pro Tempore?
Yes. Senator Alcantara is absent. Senator Boson.
Here.
Senator Carrillo.
Here, present.
Senator Chan.
Here.
Senator David.
Here.
Can you go back to question?
Carrillo.
Okay. Thank you.
Senator Jackson. Sorry. Senator Lopez is late. Senator Zuna is excused absent. Senator Theohart.
Here.
Senator Chow is unexcused late. Senator Pereira.
Here.
Senator Talley.
Present.
Senator Vargas. Absent. Senator Sunga has at class and hopefully come at 7. And Senator Torrento.
Here.
Perfect. On that note, we have quorum. Yes.
Oh, there's Senator was here. I didn't know you saw me.
What'd you say?
Here.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Letting us know.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to him.
All good.
Understand what I'm
That's fine. We'll take care of it. On that note, we have quorum. Senator Alcantara and Director Yang are both late, but now present. Director Yang. Moving on to approve the agenda. The agenda was sent out on Monday with the agenda packet. There are a couple of changes. Real quick, I wanted to clarify. I think there's a typo in election timeline, but we'll fix that when we get to there. And then Vice President of Finance, I believe you wanted to make a motion.
Yes, can I please move new business A, C, and D before public forum?
Can you repeat that, please?
I make a motion to move new business A, C, and D before public forum,
To before public forum?
after public forum.
Thank you. There's a motion to make, to move section A, C, and D to right after public forum, make it to new G. There's a second to that motion.
Second.
Second by Senator Pereira. Are there any objections to this motion? We'll just call for this one, actually. All in favor of amending the agenda to move section H, subsection A, C, and D of new business to right after public forum? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? The vote is unanimous. The agenda is amended. Is there any objection to adopting the perfected agenda? Yes.
For senator reports, can I request to be first?
Yeah, of course. It's easy enough. It doesn't need to be in the agenda. Are there any other suggested changes or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we will adopt the agenda as presented or as perfected. Thank you. Moving on to approval of the Senate meeting minutes of 19. The minutes shall be passed around as per custom and approved if anyone has any changes. Moving on to the ex officio reports. At this time, any ex officios wish to report to this galley or to this board at this time?
Hi everyone, Andres, CSD. So I want to thank all of you that participated, all of those that participated at our Cesar Chavez 5K this past Saturday. It was really fun. I'm not sure how many students beat Vice Chancellor Sandoval's challenge, but I'm sure a lot of it did. But thank all of you that came out to support. So we're taking applications for next year's Chicano Link Peer Mentor program that pairs juniors and seniors with first year students here at ASUCR. Qualifications: you must be a junior or senior. You must have a 2.5 GPA or higher. Be able to attend 3 programs per quarter, and work with mentees at least 30 minutes every 2 weeks. So we're taking applications at CSB. Just drop by the office and we have a sign-in sheet right there. Next Saturday, we'll be having Radio Aslan Music Festival. That'll be taking place at the University Theater at 6 p.m. And this year we'll be having MC Magic and Kid Frost. Not sure if y'all are aware of it, those artists, but they're very badass. Yeah. The pre-sales are $25 and $30 at the door. $5 for parking at lot 6. And yeah, hope to see y'all there.
Thank you. Any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you again. Any other ex officios at this time?
Just wanted to let everyone know that ECAB meetings will be every Friday at 4 o'clock in the Senate chambers. So, be there.
I'm sorry. You said every Friday at 4 o'clock?
Friday at 4.
Vice President of Finance, what time is our financing?
Friday at 4.
You have to fill out the doodle poll, so.
Don't you have to be at those meetings?
I was the chair of the finance.
Friday at 4. For ECAB, I just need to meet quorum, and that was a time that everyone who filled out the poll could come where quorum would be met.
And due to our schedule, it's like Friday at 4.
Just want to make sure you're ready.
I'm sure we can reschedule it outside of this. I'm sure we'll figure
ECAB
out
meetings are
time.
Friday at 4.
Yeah.
First
I will
time.
not reschedule.
Any other members of the ex officio wish to Scott first? Whoever gets that first.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Wait, is this ex officio?
Yeah.
Okay, time out. I just want to make sure. So hi y'all. I'm a chief of staff in Marcela, student region designate Marcela's Ramirez office. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are looking for staff members for next year. Both chief of staff will be training or talking to students who are interested. So if you all are interested in being the possible chief of staff, there's also the likelihood of other positions, possibly like social media chair, marketing director, and things similar to that. But if you have any questions, feel free to come into the office. We'll be in the Coastal Hall 114 from 11 to 2 is our busiest hour, so we'll be in there in the office.
Thank you. Wait, any questions for the ex officio? Inspiring student leaders? We see a couple real quick. We'll start with Senator Thielhard.
Is there any place online to apply for this? And is that 11 to 2 every day, or is that only on certain days?
11 to 2 every day. And no, there's not a place to do it online. It's not a formal interview. It's who works best with the student regent. There's different, she is a student as well, so it's kind of taking into consideration things that she's researching and also, so she focuses on cultural centers. And just the fact that like if students need that mentorship, she's a great mentor. She provides a lot of resources. And as a student regent, you also have that opportunity to get involved on that.
I guess one question for Monroe.
Casey. That's me.
Perfect. Thank you again. Oh wait, Des.
I just needed the room number one more time. It was 114 or 112.
114.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think it's 114. now.
Any ex officios at this time?
Hi everybody, really quick. So the External Affairs Office is, their meetings are scheduled, so every Friday at 1 o'clock are our executive meetings, if you all want to attend those. This is all from memory, so let me remember. The HAC meetings are Fridays at 2. The HAC stands for Highlander Action Committee. The Voter Coalition meetings are Mondays at 5, thank you. And I was wondering if it was 4 or 5, so we have this mixed up. And then Wednesdays at 4 are the lobby court. Thank you. Sorry about that. It's been a long day. And then there's also a training for all the people who want to help register people to vote, Tuesday at 7 next week, here in ASUCR. So if you all are interested in helping volunteer, we need as many people as possible to get as many students registered. So that training will be next Tuesday. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions for the ex officio? Seeing none, any more further questions, you can probably find in your contact information. Any other ex officio members at this time? Seeing none, we'll move forward the agenda to public forum. Any members of the public wish to address this board at this time? Seeing none, we'll move right over into the new businesses that were moved up. We'll start with the election filing deadline for previously approved ballot initiatives. Actually, Vice President, I was going to direct this to the election director first, if you wanted to. This matter.
Well, honestly, Shelby has prepared the statement, and the most I can say is that I'm in support of it.
Perfect. Vice President, before.
We discussed about this last week. We pretty much have to extend the deadline for filing like all the forms for all the referendums, one referendum, and the constitutional amendments that we have approved last quarter. So I move to extend the filing deadline for all the approved ballot initiatives.
To clarify, in the agenda packet, it's page 3. It's the elections timeline that we approved last quarter is there. They're changing, or we are changing, or suggesting change, number 5 previously approved, and it says the date we're changing it to is paperwork is due April 7th at 2016 at 5 p.m. To clarify, so we're all suggesting a change. The motion on the table is to change number 5 election timeline to make the paperwork due for ballot initiatives at 7 tomorrow at 5. Sorry, the April 7th at 5 p.m. Is there any clarifying questions or motion, second to his motion? Senator Talley.
Are there any other than the ones that we've gotten today, are there any other ones that were previously
There are actually a couple. So we passed a number of things from this board, and everything on this agenda more or less needs to be filed. Meaning that if this passes, each of these would still have to go be filed, submit paperwork submitted to the election director. So the constitutional amendments can get filed, the student voice initiative referendum. I believe how the newspaper is correct? It's all good.
That's
Yes. So
other than
these two, only ones I know about. Elections director?
the only referendum is the student voice initiative referendum, and then there's constitutional changes, and those are the paperwork I see interest in.
Yeah. Any other questions for myself or the election director or the vice president? Seeing none, then is there a second to vice president's motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Willis. Are there any questions or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, yes.
Are we going to send out an email allowing letting the students know that we
Election director.
What, sorry?
Are we sending out an email countywide allowing them to know that we extended the deadline?
This is, we can, but this is for previously approved information. So this is not opening the door for new legislation to be submitted, only legislation that's already been reviewed and approved by the board.
Yeah, to clarify, so there's a pretty thorough process to pass a constitutional amendment or to pass a referendum. The two things that we're talking about, it made it through the entire process, and then we just didn't file it. So it's really just to extend the last step and file the last two, which is why it's not possible for any resolutions to be introduced, any legislation or referendums to be introduced at this time. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions or debate for this motion? Seeing none, we'll call this to vote. All in favor of amending the election filing deadline for ballot initiatives to paperwork to be due on April 7th at 5 p.m. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? The vote is 11-0-1. On that note, the elections filing deadline is open.
It's 12-0-1, sorry.
It's still 11-0-1, sorry. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, the student voice referendum. Vice President of Finance, please begin your item.
Alright, so for the SBI referendum, I'm happy to say that it has been approved by BCSA and it has been approved by the Chancellor, and it's actually, UCOP is reviewing it, and I do expect it to be ready to be on the ballot by next week. So now we have to take a final vote to have the SBI referendum on the ballot. We already approved the language, so it should be almost the same, unless there is some edit from UCOP. So we just have to now take a vote to have the SBI referendum on the ballot. So I move to have the SBI referendum on the ballot.
Is there any discussion or questions for the Vice President of Finance? Seeing none, anyone like to make a motion? My mistake? Order, please. Motion on the table is to approve the student voice initiative. Is there a second?
I'd like to amend.
There's a motion to amend. Is there,
It's just, it doesn't change the meaning of it, it's just grammar.
is the grammar? Let's hear it first. What is it?
Or it's the fourth line after ASUCR elections, there's no point, and then if the business.
Which line, existing funds?
No, this is literally the fourth line down from the very beginning.
And above the introduction, though, right? The space.
And then the period.
Is there anything else? That looks to be just a typo. And the typo can be fixed without an amendment.
Okay.
So we should be fine there. Is there any other amendments you? Okay. Then we'll go back to motion. There's a motion on the table to approve the SBI referendum. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Willis. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All in favor of adopting the student voice initiative, please. Any opposed? Any abstain?
Josh, do you approve that?
No cursing or punishment votes, please, Vice President. Senator Lopez, I'm assuming you're voting aye, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. We will assume the vote is unanimous on those regards then. On that note, the student voice initiative will be on the ballot. Moving on to the constitutional amendments. Senator discuss take action on constitutional amendments to place on the election ballot. I believe Vice President again, this is, do you wish to present?
Okay, so there's 3 constitutional amendments. One is the Vice President of Finance being elected, so that will be on the ballot for students to decide if they want to make that update. The other one is the GCAP Director position, and students will decide if GCAP, if there should be a GCAP Director or not. And the third one, I believe, is a update, a general update of the Constitution. So I move to put the constitutional amendment on the ballot for students to decide.
Clarification, does the public have a copy of it?
All right. Public Hearing, would you mind putting the packet on the,
Just so that they know what's going on.
yeah. That's good enough, thank you, Senator Kelly. Executive Director, do you have a
I just want to
clarifying?
make a clarification. I believe the Senate already voted to put the GCAP constitutional change on.
Yeah.
Yes. So all you need to do is the Vice President of Finance and then all the other regular states.
Vice President of Finance and the other one?
In general.
And general update of the Constitution.
This one, Do you have the packet though, please? In the packet, the changes, the Constitution starts on page 8 for the record. Yes. Do you know which pages again are the changes on?
Let's see.
Thank you.
Yes, Senator.
I was just wondering
finance before with like an appointment. I was just like,
Always appointed before?
yeah, instead of like,
Exec Director, would you mind storing your 20 years of knowledge here?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Why would we have VP of Finance?
always an appointment.
Yeah.
Is it what?
Why
Why
was
was
it
it appointed?
So previous in terms.
Instead of elected.
Yeah, instead of elected.
Well,
Was it messed up?
we only have the 3 branch system with government for the last few years. Before that, it was done completely different because everybody on ASUCR was a senator. And from the senators, they elected their officers. So it was never an issue because the VP of Finance, would have already been there. So it's just one of those transitional things from going to a 3 branch system of government, and they wanted the president to approve, or to appoint the VP of Finance, but this is a change because it's been brought up that that might not be as fair as. That answer the question?
Okay. Is that answer your question, Senator?
Yeah.
Maureen, would you mind listing the pages and general changes that I had, please?
Sure.
On the,
So, you want to start?
I believe it starts on page
Alright.
9.
Page 9, one of the changes is associated students of UC recession shall not known participate or affiliate with any organization that discriminates. That's one of the changes. Next one.
We started in Senate.
Yeah. Going down further on page 13, the selection and removal of interns shall be at the discretion of the director they work under, with appointments of paid interns subject to ratification by the Senate. With appointments subject to ratification by the Senate. That's not important.
Yeah, no, we didn't start that.
They're in budget.
Okay,
So-
yeah, with appointments, yeah. Next change, assuming there is one, is additional changes in Article 5, Legislative Branch, Section 2, Subsection C. Additional staff added by the bylaws may provide. Wait, what? Additional staff added by the bylaws.
Point of information, where was these copies on from? Because a lot of these were changes that we had already made that are coming up again. Because I remember specifically that being something that was changed.
Executive Director? Hey. Sorry,
Don't pay attention.
These are the changes you sent over for the other things that need to be on ballot. Were these the changes you got from us previously when it was on heard from LRC?
Yes. The ones that were sent in, I'd have to look and make sure it was the same one, but I'm sure it is. It's the one that I sent to you, but it's the one that they were approved. I think Ashley, wrote most of them, that LRC made a few changes and then passed it, and it was passed here as part of the LRC report. So the actual changes were approved, it just wasn't approved to go on the ballot. But the changes that you see would be here.
President Arano?
I sent the Constitution, the edited one, to Melina last week, so if that's not the updated one, then Melina has it in her inbox and maybe could forward it to you.
I feel like we have, it looks like we have
I
different
sent-
versions of Constitution.
I sent the one that was revised, that when Marcy was doing them as a Google Doc, that's the one, I just cut and pasted to a Word document and sent it. That's the most current one, so if this is that one, then yes.
Question director, is it the same copy you worked off, or at least the same version that you got?
I can try to pull it up, but if Lori's,
If you
that's
scroll
the
down,
most
I can probably
updated
tell
one,
you.
Yeah.
that's what I have.
President Matem, when you made the edit changes, you did it from LRC or you do it from on this board?
Yeah, so to clarify, the changes I believe were made, like, I remember specifically that clause because it was redundant, were made during LRC. And then I don't know, I think there was a problem with the Google Doc, the one that Martin had with the version on or something. So there were other changes that we made during LRC that were reflected in that version.
And I believe because it's at this table after LRC, it was sent back, wasn't it? Afterwards? Just to make it to the ballot?
I forget the exact, that's
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Is the Senate able to amend the Constitution?
The Senate is able to amend whatever they get on the floor. I'd rather just find the right copy instead of going through it, to be honest. Alexis, would you mind looking up the copy that you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if it's different.
Yeah,
Different from boards, do you mind looking at your records, see if it's a copy?
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
From, it was dealing with the elections filing. I just sent it to you.
Right, I'm trying to look it up in my inbox.
Oh,
Because I don't have it on my laptop, I have it on.
oh, okay. It wouldn't come from my personal one.
Your personal, okay.
Because just this is less remember specifically.
Is the general changes that I'm assuming are the ones that are most tricky. The finance director is a pretty simple one to find. And was there a third one that we're missing?
It was through the online.
So just those two, right?
Filing.
The general changes, a whole bunch of little things, and the director of finance.
Yeah, keep in mind, DCAP was already approved to be on the ballot, so that's not.
You know how I could file that
Show,
form?
The one that I,
Website?
that
That's
I
where
sent in, I think that the LRC, we made a couple of
Yeah.
changes. to-
Let's do two things right now. While election director and board finds the current copy of the amended constitution, let's take a vote separately on the constitutional changes to the make finance a legal position.
To put it on the ballot.
Yeah, to put on the ballot. Of course. Thank you for correcting me. And then hopefully if they'll find the right copy, but then if not, we'll move forward till they do. Is there any objections to that? Right, seeing none. Probably Karen, where are in the changes? Is it change to the re-elected?
For finance?
Yeah.
One second. Here we go. It seems like the changes aren't either.
Emphasize it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, the executive council, no, yeah. Page 11, but it seems like that was changed.
Read the glossary in the section.
The executive cabinet shall be elected directly by an undergraduate student body with the exception of the vice president of finance and elections director. The part where it says vice president of finance should be struck. And the elections director part should stay as is.
Make another changes there. Was there any other lines that you remember?
There's one in exec. Are we doing the VP of finance right now?
Yes.
Okay, so there's one in the executive. I think is title 4 or 5. So it's in the executive finance section.
Actual line right now.
So Marty, can you go up?
I think with the changes.
Can you go up? I'll show you which changes
Go.
So there's two. There's
Article,
one
do
in
you want article? The second one?
the second one is in the election. In the election. Class 8 is a. Do you have the constitution with you?
I have a copy of the report. We
Table indefinitely until I find it and me and John can verify it.
yeah, no, we tabled the first part, kind of elections, but we're doing the finance part.
Yeah, that's not even edited either, that's what I'm saying. Both of them are.
I know, but we can make the
Alright.
edited finances that are, more or less recently. Like we just literally know where.
I had a big meeting.
I see it. Vice President of Finance, I see it. It's section 7 under elections, with the exception of the Vice President of Finance.
So that's
Page
one, and
24.
there's also one in the executive branch section.
Yeah, there's two, right?
Yes.
Only two. So the only changes we're going to talk about real quickly are on page 11 in section B of Article 4, section B. There's a line that says the executive candidate shall be elected directly by the undergraduate student body, with the exception of, and strike the next part, and just go straight to elections director. The line we're striking is Vice President of Finance. What change one? The second change is in Article 7, elections, Section C, voting in ASUCR elections. The student shall directly elect the executive cabinet and the Senate with the exception of the elections director, and strike the next following words, and the Vice President of Finance. Yes?
Can we get a copy?
It's in the preview packet.
Oh.
Is it updated?
We're changing it right now. So page 24 and page 11. The only changes are the words Vice President of Finance and being struck. Are there any questions on this specific constitutional changes?
Can you go over them just one more time, please?
Of course. On page 11 of the preview packet, and in Article 4, Executive Branch, Section B, it's elections of Executive Cabinet. First clause reads as following. The Executive Cabinet shall be elected directly by the undergraduate student body, with the exception of and strike the following words, Vice President of Finance, and. Vice President of Finance, and the words we're striking. The second clause we're looking at is in Article 7 of elections, and page 24 of the preview packet. In Section C, the clause reads as, all voting in ASUCR elections shall be done by secret ballot. The students shall directly elect the ASUCR cabinet and the Senate with the exception of the director. And strike the following words, and the Vice President of Finance. Struck it. The only two changes are those two parts. Is anyone comfortable enough to make a motion to strike those two parts? Vice President of Finance.
Motion to put, strike the two parts of the Constitution.
In Article 7 and Article 4, correct?
Yes.
As we prescribed. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senu Winu Chao. Is there any discussion on this? Any discussion or debate? Seeing none. All in favor of striking the two clauses with the language of and the Vice President of Finance? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? Vote is 1101. And on that note, the constitutional is to be amended and put on the ballot. Anyway, moving on. Election Director or President Pro Tempore, do we find the general elections?
I still haven't found it. I looked through a bunch of
I sent the copy that actually had some.
You sent forward the copy to Marty?
Yeah.
Would you mind sending it to Jonathan as well? And is it in a Google Doc or is it in a?
It's in a Word document, not Google Doc.
We'll figure it out.
Taylor,
Open up the.
Taylor.
Yes.
I have the email that I sent to the PCSAIT for posting about the copies that I believe to be the most current.
Would you mind sending to?
Email to from my phone right now.
Yeah. Would you mind emailing to the parliamentarian and the Senate Secretary, please, instead?
Okay. I don't know.
Great, it's done.
Cool. We're ready to present. We can move on to that.
Yeah, no, okay.
We'll start. Okay, then parliamentarian, as we were started on, would you mind going through the general changes?
Article.
Please start with we'll do about three package.
Article 1, Section C, non-discriminatory clause, the associated students of BCR shall not knowingly participate or affiliate with any organization which discriminates. That's one change. The second change is the selection, on Section E of Article 4. So Section 4, Article 4, Section E. Subsection 2, the selection and removal of interns shall be at the discretion of the director they work under, with appointments of paid interns subject to ratification by the Senate. And the part that the words afterward are struck through. Next one, Article 5, Section 2, Section A, Subsection 2, Senate staff, the Senate staff shall consist of the following positions. The part that was struck through was additional staff added by the bylaws may provide, and it was changed to additional staff as provided by the ASUCR bylaws.
Can we strike two Senate staff?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a motion to amend the proposed amendment. Is there a second to that motion? And then
Point of clarification, do
Yes.
we need a motion for that specifically because
Just
it's, yeah.
is it grammar or is it?
I don't think it's a typo. I think there should be like a dash. So it should say like Senate staff, which is like the title and then it's kind of like a subtitle to it.
So you're saying that like Senate staff should be the section title, and then there should be one word to the Senate staff shall consist of.
Yeah, it's the
But I
same
guess we
with,
could just literally
it's same
say
with one, if you look them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's kind of what we just added. It's not a PDF, it's not
Taylor, point of personal privilege.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so, we're gonna do a grammar change, that doesn't really require a motion. Alright, continuing, the next change is on, section H, attendance, the removal of expulsion completely, the removal of excuse of absence completely, and in subsection 2 of a majority of the members present when quorum exists was removed.
Can you read the question?
Excuse me?
Can you read it out loud since we don't have it?
Okay. Section H is regarding attendance, so expulsion. Any voting member of the Senate who fails to attend 3 regularly scheduled meetings of the Senate for which proper notice has been given without being excused by the Senate or its responsible agent from duty or attendance may act of censure as outlined in Chapter 23 of the ASUCR bylaws upon a 2/3 vote of the entire voting membership of Senate be expelled. If vacancy occurs, the seat shall be filled by the next succeeding alternate, and absence may be excused in one of 2 ways. Excuse of absence, a prior written notice presented to the executive vice president or the responsible agent. A maximum of 4 such notices per year with no more than 2 presented in any one quarter shall be accepted as excuses. And the last one is a majority vote of the senators present when quorum exists. So those were the things removed. Next, the constitutional change is, okay. On section H of vacancies, subsection 2, in the event that the Chief Justice vacates their position, and it's been changed to, once a new justice is appointed, the Judicial Council will need to elect a new Chief Justice.
Real quick, for all senators, we just sent you an email with the current version that we're working on, so it should all be in your folders, so you can actually read it instead of trusting us and looking on the big screen. If anyone in the gallery wishes to have the agenda sent to them directly, or at least the constitutional changes we're talking about, please just raise your hand, we'll make sure it gets to you.
Those are all the changes.
Okay? We talked about all the changes?
Yeah, those are all the changes, so if anyone wants to make a motion.
Okay, we'll do this, yes, President.
I didn't see the changes that I had sent in there. Are they already like solidified? Or did they, because some of it got approved by LRC, did it not get approved by Senate?
As far as I know, all of the stuff, I think some of the stuff from LSU they got approved actually got changed by the Senate, but I'm pretty sure just looking at the changes, this was the most updated one.
It should be in the top, so can you like scroll down?
Yeah, but do you know where in public hearing, would you just,
It would be like in the preamble. It was like the beginning.
as per before, the changes that she was talking about, they got approved by LRC, correct?
So some of the edits that
Yeah,
she
some of
made,
them did.
some of them were struck and some of them were.
So some version of it came through, right?
Yeah.
Are they in this document?
What specifically were you?
I don't have my computer, so I don't remember exactly the parts of it, but it was supposed to be around here and I don't see it.
And they're not?
It was about the environmental friendliness.
Yeah, there should be a change about can you scroll up a little bit? Is this the one that I just sent?
This
So it's
is,
sustainability election.
Scroll down a little bit,
Yeah,
Martin.
that's it.
yeah, this is the one you sent me, yeah.
Then
Scroll down a
I
little
don't
more.
have the updated copy.
To section
Okay.
C. Let no. Is that the same thing? Jimmy, it looks the same. Is it defined? Is race
What was that section? No, that was the environmental.
Yeah, that's it. Alright, apologies for the inconvenience, everyone. President Romano, or President Board, Election Director, and Executive Director, did any of those changes that President Romano was talking about get sent to myself or the parliamentarian?
Well, it definitely came to Senate because Senate voted on it.
Okay, so those were already voted on.
So wherever the environmental clause document went, like it was definitely voted on.
Okay.
So.
And I believe I do remember that actually as well. If it was voted on at this board last time, does it need to be voted on again? I'm asking, it's myself.
All that needs to happen,
I just don't know where like the
Election
document
director?
went.
all that needs to happen, since it's already been previously voted on and approved, is that all the portion needs to do is vote to approve to put it on the ballot.
Wasn't the approval of the constitutional amendment like suggested a motion to put it on the ballot?
No, that was approving the actual changes. So
So
we've
the
already,
motion-
we've already combed through these changes
Yeah.
before. So that motion was to approve those
There's the changes, and we need another motion.
The motion that we need today is only to approve to put it on the ballot.
Which I'm totally okay with. If the motions, or if the language we put through, that we combed through was the one sitting in front of us, but apparently it is not. Do you know where President Romano's changes are? Yes,
Would the changes be on the minutes from the last?
they would be in the minutes from last.
So,
Parliamentarian, would you mind?
We just table this indefinitely.
We would be able to table indefinitely, except the deadline is tomorrow at
No, I
5.
meant, table indefinitely until after senator reports when I can have everything down.
Yeah, I'll move forward on the agenda until,
I find
Yeah.
President Morano's.
yeah.
Table this until after senator.
Taylor?
Yes,
The version that I just sent to both parliamentarian and secretary is the version that I got from the minutes that Marcy sent me. So they were the ones from the meeting when we approved it at the LRC report. So the one that I just sent should be the most current one. And I was in the LRC meeting, and I know that they say that they kept some of the changes and they took some out. I believe it's the correct copy
Yeah.
unless, I can send it to you, Ashley, if you want.
I
Yeah,
think I
yes,
found it.
please.
okay.
Yeah, I think we're okay. I think I found it.
The one with Ashley?
I might be confused, so I'll just look at Lori's email.
You might be right.
Is it this one? President Morano?
It was there, it just wasn't
Yes,
highlighted.
that looks like it.
Oh, okay. Was it?
It was there, it just wasn't highlighted
Oh,
before.
thank you.
Okay. Can we scroll through that one as well?
So,
yeah.
yeah, we've already read through it. The difference is that it was just.
No,
Yeah.
Cool. I know we're going back and forth on this, but change constitution is not something we should do lightly. So I want to make sure the thing we're putting on the ballot is the same thing we combed over and the same thing that we can like responsibly tell the students that this is something made in good conscience.
Yep, seems to be the same.
President Tor, is there anything that we're looking like we're missing?
I'm just looking right now. This one looks like the updated version, but
Just send it,
Are
Ashley.
you also gonna strike through
The one change that was suggested?
No, I'm talking about excuse.
We already did that. This is the updated version.
No, just go up and look at it for a second.
What page?
Just keep going up.
I believe it's page,
First one or the second one?
page 18, I believe.
There's no page.
The packet?
Just right there, excuse me. Are you gonna strike the two or are you
It's
gonna
already struck through.
leave the three?
All of
The
this
title?
is struck and through.
Yeah. up to Susan and then.
So are you just gonna leave the
No,
title?
because there's one thing that is instruct and excuse.
Oh, that's fine, that's enough, thank you.
Election director, do we miss anything by your count? Maybe.
I can't keep track of all these things.
It's all good. I think I got most of it actually. President Rano, did we miss anything?
I think you're good.
Executive director.
Is that the one that I just sent?
Yes.
Yes.
I sent it to Ashley, but I'm
I think it's good.
99.9% positive that's the one that everybody voted on because I got it from the minutes.
It's all good. I'm looking at voters, so I think we can take 99%.
As long as Ashley understands that it's the same one that.
Okay, so the general constitutional changes are the same as the parliamentarian just read, minus the very beginning that was just simply not highlighted. Language is still exactly the same. Are there any questions or clarifying things anyone wishes to mention? It's well within your right to do so. Seeing none, did we hear a motion for it? There's no motion. Can I hear a motion from anyone who is so willing or not?
I move to approve the changes to the Constitution being put on the ballot for this election.
There's a motion to approve the ballot language of the constitutional amendments. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Lopez, because he raised his hand and he waited to be called on.
Sometimes you know, but sometimes you don't. So I'm confused.
Yeah.
Consistency, Mr. Chairman.
That's true. I'm gonna just really caution it.
Yeah. Got you.
Anyway, all in favor of approving the general constitutional amendments? Any opposed? Any abstained? The vote is 12-0-0, and I note the constitutional amendment shall be put on the ballot. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. We moved the agenda and amended to move those three above Senate reports, so we move back to Senate reports and move to the last item of new business. Senate reports, I believe Senator David wanted to go first. Yes.
So I finally have a meeting with Vice Chancellor Ron Coley, and that's going to be in the next 2 weeks. So that one actually took a long time to finally solidify. And we're going to discuss the ownership of the lockers in Olmsted so we can try and open it up for students, for student use. And then, so for the kindness campaign, it's going to be a week-long event, and it's kind of like my take on the Feminism Awareness Week that happened last year. And I actually talked to Vice President External Affairs Summer Schaefer, and then she's also gonna kind of add in some ideas as well. So for the kindness campaign, I already contacted ASPB and they said yes to a collaborative event during a New Year's. There'll be more info on that later. It's kind of detailed, but I don't want to bore you all with the details. And then I'm also creating 2 videos because we want it more to be a social media presence. So my interns and I are working on a quality video. And then also if anybody wants to join this project, it'll be like an unofficial ad hoc committee, I guess. And then as part of the kindness campaign, whenever the underrun is going to be, that's when my week is, or when the kindness campaign week is going to be as well. And for the underrun, now I'm just waiting for a solidified date. And I've actually been in contact with a mildly famous DJ, and then I'm just looking around for funding. So I contacted Vice Chancellor Jim Sandoval, the Hub board governor, kind of head, or the Hub head, Todd Winnigat, and then also I tried to do a co-sponsorship event with ASPB because they have money grants for that, but I think it's too late for that. So if anyone has any idea where I could look for more funding for this kind of thing, because ASUCR is only allowed $600 per performer, and that's kind of small for if we want to bring a larger crowd, which is what I intend to do for underrun.
Yes.
That is going to be discussed. I don't know. I replied to everyone in the email, so that's going to be discussed discussed next week, I believe, in a meeting with Vice Chancellor Jim Sandoval, who's in Student Affairs and Hospitality. So if you would like to attend, I'll.
Oh, yeah, no, I was included in the so,
Yes, Director.
You said like it wasn't officialized yet?
yeah, it got moved.
I'll do that on my report right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's unofficial and tentative now.
Cool. Any other comments or questions for the Senator? Senator?
Oh, yeah, I'm good now.
We will start on, we'll start on the right side. Senator Bosick, your report.
Okay, so yesterday, myself, Corey, Elections Director Melina, and Vice President of Campus General Affairs Michael Irvin, and I met with Dean of Students Joe Verrata to discuss the spiritual spiritual wellness resolution that I authored last quarter. We wanted to just kind of shape the vision of what type of center we would hope to establish in this campus. And from that discussion, today I sat in on the spiritual and religious cluster meeting with Student Life to see whether or not there was a demand or an interest from that small community first, and then I plan to go to the campus at large with some survey or something to see if there's a demand for this within the entire student body. I got very good feedback today from the spiritual religious cluster during the meeting, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this project so that we can try to bring that to UCR, whether or not I be here or not. And aside from that, as you all know, this month is the month that Beyond Our Margins Conference will take place. Applications were sent out, and for the next few weeks, I'll just be solidifying things, all things logistical, food, flyers, posters, etc. Putting in purchase orders, requisitions, getting the t-shirts, and all that good stuff. I will need a lot of help the day of the conference, and I will also need a lot of help in promoting the conference. I don't know if this is good or not, but I sent the applications out 2 days ago, and I'm happy, I'm pleased. We've gotten 70 responses already, so hopefully that continues in the next 3 weeks. But if all of you can add all your friends from UCR to the Facebook event page, I would greatly appreciate it, and just help me promote. So that's it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Senator?
One of
President Village?
yeah.
Of course. Yes. Of course. Anybody else? Senator Creed, report? Yes.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back once again, reporting for my report as senator. I had the honor of sitting on the search committee for the Assistant Vice Chancellor of Diversity and Inclusion, and by now you should have received an email. The Highlander community should have received an email that Mariam Lamb, Associate Professor of Comparative Literature, has been selected as the ABCDI. She was very great, and thank you to the Diversity Council, as well as Vice Internal Michael, EVP Taylor, and everybody that met the applicants and helped me make my personal recommendation. So thank you so much for that. It's a great experience being on a search committee. The Advisory Committee of Campus Arts had a meeting, or we canceled our meeting last week, and we have no recent updates on any new art installments yet. However, Pro Tempore Corey has proposed a University Avenue improvement project that I believe the committee would be interested in hearing about. And so when we finally get that next meeting, Corey, you're welcome to attend with me and talk about that, present the project to them, because they have also been talking about fixing up that University Avenue installment as well. I think it'd be a really great opportunity for student talent, student art to have an installation of their own in the community. As for the R-Stars project, there is not one yet scheduled for this quarter. However, the last one was on week 9, and it got a lot of really great positive feedback from the student body. It was featured in the Highlander towards the end of the quarter, so thank you very much, Highlander, for your kind words. It's really great to see support for our Highlander talent. Anyway, that is it for me.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the Senator?
Yes. Did you say that Mariam Lamb was your recommendation, or?
Mariam Lamb was selected.
but she wasn't a recommendation.
Well, well, am I allowed to say? I think so.
You
No? Okay.
Or not?
I will not say my recommendation.
Personnel matter.
Yeah, I will not say my recommendation, but Mary Ann Lamb was.
Wait, real quickly. Which one was she?
I just need a point of
Yes.
clarification, I guess. You said that you'd like to thank, you named a few individuals for helping confirm your
For
recommendation.
helping my, yes.
So am I allowed to ask whether or not that was the person you recommended?
I don't know, I don't know if that's a question that I can
I'm
answer.
actually
but-
pretty sure that we're allowed to publicly recommend people. And because I've been on search meetings before, and usually they ask students, and what we usually did is we like wrote.
I assume that's why we had the forum too,
Yeah.
for diversity, because it's an important issue that students need to be involved in.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I took the comments of the internal and the executive vice president as well as diversity council into account when I made my recommendation.
And we both agreed very strongly on who we thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say it was all around like a.
Yeah. She wasn't the one that got hired?
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't? Okay,
Yeah.
I love that. Any other questions or comments for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Lopez.
How's it going, everyone? As you all know, I've been working on a DUI event, and this Monday I met with Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, James Sandoval, and me and a colleague of mine, Bo Young. We met to basically discuss the event that I was planning specifically, and also a campaign that will be a facet of this event. So that being said, the event itself got broken down to 3 smaller events. Due to the magnitude of what I wanted in this event, it couldn't all be fit into one. So what we're doing is, the Well is hosting a new member summit workshop on May 3rd in Hub 302. So I'll be collaborating with them. I'll be representing ASUCR. We'll be collaborating with them. We'll be working with the Well, IFC, and the Panhellenic Association. So we'll be at this workshop, and basically during this event, it'll be more of an intimate setting, and I plan on having 3 panel speakers there. Currently contacting the chief of UCPD, the Riverside District Attorney, and I'm right now debating between either having some people from MAD, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or having students from UCR's own community give a testimony about their DUI experience. So those will be the 3 panel speakers that will be including into an existing event already, which is the new member summit workshop. And in order to increase a larger audience for this event, we will be doing promotional efforts such as flyers, Facebook group, social media marketing campaign, all that good stuff. But as for this event, I will need some volunteer help from the Slater for people who want to sign up. I'll send out an email, basically to help me organize the actual logistics of this event that I'm going to be collaborating into. Now, as I said, we got broken down to 3 other events. The other 2 events that we'll be having is collaborating with the Nooners events on April 27th and May 4th. This is being hosted by ASPB at the Bell Tower. And these events, they are titled Party Safety Nooners on both days. So basically, Jackie from the Well explained to me what this event is, and she said that's basically like they're gonna have music, they're gonna have people giving out like free information about how responsible drinking habits. So I told her that I was gonna join up with this event already and bring in my own team, and we'll be basically on the side of their own table, specifically promoting a sober driving campaign. Now the reason why the official name for this campaign that we're making is ASUCR Sober Driving Campaign, because we're trying to encourage sober driving in general, not just drunk driving, because there's other drugs that you can do that you can drive on that is not limited to just alcohol. So the main emphasis is just to be a sober driver in general, and we'll be doing promotion for this at these 2 events, April 27 and May 4. Now, we'll be giving away, we'll be having a sober driving pledge, and we're in the works of actually getting a car there that people will be able to like hit with a bat, but kind of to basically have the visual appeal. And then they'll have to send a pledge though to be a sober driver and to basically instill good drinking habits. And also we'll have informational posters regarding DUI facts, so sober driving behaviors and responsible drinking tips. And we'll be also, mainly we'll be promoting the overall campaign that will go into the following school year. Now, the main purpose of this campaign is to instill responsible drinking habits into the student populace. But as we all know, there's no cure-all to this solution, because regardless of how hard we try, there will always be an outlier, students who, will neglect all the information and will drink and drive. So, although we may make our strongest efforts to prevent this, and we will, there has to be a contingency solution for the students who refuse to listen to basically the facts, which is why a facet of this campaign will be the Uber program, subsidized Uber, and a Safe Ride program. Now, I've talked with James Sandoval about this as well, me and Bo, and we basically, he already had a plan for this, apparently, and he was talking about it with the chancellor, and they were doing it in response to muggings and basically people walking back to the apartments from Grand Mark. They were already having a program in the works, but we presented him the idea of having this also for parties and for people who are not sober, and he thought it was a great idea. He loved it, so he's gonna invite us to all further conversations regarding this plan that they have. So Bo Young and I will be going to all these meetings. I'll be updating you on the progress of that. But as of right now, this program is being modeled after existing programs from other schools who have had successful sober driving programs. However, other schools have a larger budget than UCR, so we can't exactly.
Able to extend time by
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Second.
Motion to extend time by 2 minutes by Senator Vargas, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator.
Whoa.
Seconded by Senator Boson. Any objections? Seeing none.
Okay. So as I said, UCR's budget for this program isn't to the magnitude of other schools such as USC, because USC has a program similar to this, and they have 1.2 million invested in the program. So obviously we can't do the same, but we want to have something of that scale. So as of right now, we're working on a volunteer safe ride program, which will be the first facet of this, and this will be volunteer-based from the students' own, UCR's own campus, and it basically will be students willing to take a stand against drunk driving by volunteering their time to drive other people around. So I think this is a great way to get the community involved in making a stand to show that we are a campus that prides ourselves in responsible driving. And as this program develops itself into a Safe Ride program and it proves successful, then Vice Chancellor will give us more funding for a subsidized Uber. Right now we're working on trying to get it on only Thursdays and Fridays, because those are days that have more partying than other weekdays. So we're trying to get between the hours of like 8 to 1 a.m. to have free Ubers, but this will be further in the works. But I'm just giving you basically a long-term planning of what's going to happen. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you have any questions regarding all this information, just email me and let's make some change happen. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for the senator? Seeing none, this is a long-term project, so please, if you need help or anyone else will collaborate, please keep the center out.
Thank you.
Senator Toronto?
So I just need to finalize my proposal for the microwave, and then I'll be sending it to the BCE staff for approval, and once I get their approval, I'll be ordering the parts and setting it up. And then in regards into the BCE, or the space for engineering students, it's getting all removed, but for the future generation of students, they'll be allocating the space in the new building behind MSC. Yeah, that's it.
Any questions or comments for Senator Toronto? Seeing none.
Hi, so for our closet, I'm working on a design for the posters and flyers for the Onion Run with marketing. I'm also trying to come up with a slogan to go on the posters, so if anyone can help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out a catchy slogan that has something to do with like body empowerment, because that's the theme of the Onion Run this year. Melissa will talk more about that in her report. For Personnel Committee, I'm going through the bylaws to look for changes that can be made. And I'm also going to be contacting the chairs of all the committees so that they can send in their meeting minutes for this year so that we can start compiling all the files for them. And I'm looking forward to LRC tomorrow. That's it.
Any questions or comments for Senator Chan? Seeing none.
So a little while ago, I had a student come up to me and ask about the railroads by the sea. Him and a bunch of his friends wanted to go hike, and they're actually stopped by police officers and asked to turn around because they weren't allowed to actually cross. And so with Ashley's help, I contacted Ariel Tapia, who is the Assistant Program Project Coordinator for Arellano Associates. And basically just through the email that she sent me, I'm just gonna pull a bunch of information off of it. So Metrolink will begin passenger rail service spring 2016. So, and then last year, well, previous quarters, they've been testing out the rail. And then she wants me to remind you that crossing the tracks at this location where people usually do cross is illegal. She wants to remind you that about every 3 hours a person or vehicle is hit by a train in the United States. And then that the only safe and legal railroad crossings in the area are at Blaine Street and Mount Vernon Avenue. And so these crossings include gates, signals, pavement markings that are approved by the Public Utilities and Commissions. They're currently working on a rail safety campaign, so I'm going to keep in touch with her about that, but it's just something that we should all promote as ASUCR, that something that people don't usually think about railroads. So I'd like to stay in contact with her and then further that project. With UMA, I still have to reach out to him, and hopefully he'll come before the end of the quarter and present to us all his new findings and all the updates that capital planning have been working on throughout their project with students. And then for a lot of my committees, the first time they're meeting is this week, so I'll report on that next time. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for the Senator? Senator Chow.
I have a comment. The Mayor Bailey actually went up to Sacramento this past week to talk more about rail safety and lobbying for issues on that. So if you want more information, I can always get you in contact with the Office of the Mayor to sort of let you know so you can have a more well-rounded response back to the student capacity as well. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the Senator? Seeing none, President Member Temple.
Hi everyone. So Dawson already talked about meeting with Joe Verana and some others about the Religious Center, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but we met with them on Monday and hopefully progress will continue to be made as we move forward. Yeah, LRC meeting, we're not going to get LRC report, that will be Thursdays at 1 p.m. and we'll be meeting tomorrow. So if anyone, I'm not sure if anyone in the galley had any legislation that they wanted to work on, we'll be meeting in the ASUCR conference room at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and that will be the time set for the rest of the quarter. And as was mentioned by Senator Correa during his report, I've been working, my major project for this quarter will be improving University Avenue. So I've already been in contact with the city and about getting it, what needs to be done to get it repainted. And so I sent out a survey on Monday asking for student input on how they want to see the mural be upkept, and I've already gotten almost 400 responses. So I'm really excited about that. So I don't know how long I'm going to keep it open, but once I'm able to meet with the Committee for Campus Art, I'll be able to present that information to them so they can get a feel of what students want, and then we can collaborate with that moving forward. I actually was walking to the UV today to look at it, and not only is it, I want to sort of, I guess, expand the purview of the project. So originally I was mostly focusing on the mural and on the banners that I mentioned before, but I'd like to see just, I guess, it updated more generally. So doing something with the sidewalks as well. There's actually two. When you're first driving down, it says University of California, and there's two things up there, and they both look really poor. And I think in terms of entrance to the university, if that's the primary entrance that most people use, it should really be like, there should be an arrival, if that makes sense. Like, if you've been to UCSB or some other campuses, when you go, like, you know, okay, this is where it is. So I'll be meeting with different folks and looking into ways that we can improve not just the mural, but that entire underpass, and stretching beyond that into the university, if we can include different things. So I'm focusing on the mural right now, getting those responses, and once I have a little bit more information on maybe what I would like to see done, if anything with like painting the sidewalk perhaps or something like that, I'll keep you updated. And that's it, Parker.
Cool. Any comments or questions, Senator Talley?
So with the arrival, Uma and his buddies at Capital Planning were actually talking about that. So if you want a specific answer to what they're thinking about doing, you can definitely ask him when he comes in.
Yeah, because I went to one of the logistical meetings this year talking about that, and I know that was one of the things that they got brought up, which is how I thought of this project as well. But yeah, I can get into that, so thank you.
Any last question or comments for the Senator? Seeing none, Senator Chow, on the floor.
Perfect, thank you. So for my committee, Student Services Advisory Committee, we actually had a meeting last Friday, and we'll be meeting regularly on Fridays.
We are in our final stages of making recommendations for the allocations to different departments, but moving forward, we're gonna try to reshape the committee and to make it more effective by going over the bylaws, making some changes, etc. As for the Senate internships, I will be meeting with my senators, Shamie, Muskan, Brianna, as well as Matthews on Tuesdays around 5 p.m. If you are interested in attending, if you have anything to let them know, please do so. Something we'll be focusing this quarter, I guess, would be more senator outreach. They want to see a lot of the senators actively talking to students, and so they'll be reaching out to you all, hearing your responses, and hearing if you all have any ideas, and we'll be trying to create something for the future generation of the senators to outreach to students more. As for student health, we are meeting up to negotiate our insurance plan, as well as recommend different development and establishment of new programs, and I will be talking more about it later in the Health and Wellness Committee.
Any questions or comments for the senator? Yes, Director.
This isn't for you, any but more of a general reminder. If you are a mentor in the ASUCR mentorship program, please email me your intern mentor meetings, because it was due like Sunday, and like I'm following up like for the fourth time. So if you're a mentor, please send me that meeting time, because I need it. Thanks.
You know, ask a question or comments for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Vargas.
Hi everybody. So for LRC, Corey already spoke, and for SHAC, Student Health Advisory Committee, Wendy just spoke as well. So for the Art Closet Committee, our meetings will be on Mondays at 1 p.m. So that was like the best fit for everybody on my committee. So the first week meeting will be on next Monday. So if you want to stop by and check it out, we will be in the conference room. And the Undie Run was scheduled for, I believe it was May 11th, and that was a Wednesday. And after speaking to Taylor, he really wanted to move it, so I moved it to Tuesday, May 17th. It is a Tuesday. As of right now, it's on that Tuesday. Depending on what happens at the meeting with the Vice Chancellor, UCPD, Hub Scheduling at Student Affairs, it might get moved to Thursday, just because we are planning on having a DJ. And they've already raised some concerns about the noise level. So yeah, we will be having a meeting next week with the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, UCPD, Hub Scheduling, and Verna is working on marketing right now. And at the next meeting, we will be working on a budget for finance to see what we need as far as posters, paint, the speakers, microphone, all of that. And Christina is in contact with all the DJs. And as of right now, that is all the information I have. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, or just come to the meeting on Monday, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions there.
Any questions or comments for the senator? We will start with the director.
Do we have an estimated time when that date will or will not be confirmed?
It will be confirmed by next Wednesday, I'm hoping for sure.
President Rana.
So GFA has asked me if they want to donate clothes, can they just drop it off in the office, or how would you like them to donate?
They can drop it off during office hours. So I'll go to GSA and I'll talk to them. That way it'll be easier for me to just put it in the closet instead of having it in the office.
Gotcha.
Any last questions for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Thielhart.
All right, so at the end of last quarter, during week 10, me and Corey finally got our meeting with Dean Pena, and during that meeting I brought up my goals for finals week. Dean Pena was extremely receptive to the idea, and she sent out an email to all the staff within CHAS reminding them of the policy following finals week. The biggest concern she had was that a lot of professors do just, during week 10, instead of labeling it as final, they label it as midterm, and that's how they try and circumvent that. So while I do appreciate Dean Pena's help and like her email, I also don't really feel it's going to be that effective. So I do intend to write a resolution. I would say look for it next week, but I probably won't be able to finish it tonight. So look for it next week. And beyond that, that's it. Thank you.
Cool. Any questions or comments for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Pro. Oh, sorry. Questions or comments?
What did you say about the calling in final?
Oh, she? And it was just that certain professors, instead of like labeling it as a final on their syllabus, they label it as a midterm during week 10. which kind of circumvents the university's policy of finals during week 10 versus, or during school year versus during their finals week.
You know the situation if they do call it a final during week 10?
I do not know. You can probably have to talk to the dean about that. This is going to chat.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
You can finish the resolution tonight if you really try.
Nice comment. Senator Thiel, I'll be up if you want me to help you manage it.
So,
All your points, Sarah.
not too long of a report. So for the Student Housing Advisory Committee, there is now our follow-up meeting, which is going to be talking about basically the housing budget, the actual numbers that are going where and whatnot, the other future projects and timelines for those projects, and the 10-year business plan that they have for the whole entire basically UCR housing system. And there's going to be a meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. and that I'll get to that, and one on April 11th at 9 p.m. And respectively, it'll be at the RSO conference room in the apartment, and then the Pendant Foxhole for those two meetings. I'm going to try to make it after one of them. They're basically the same meeting, so if you're able to come, you can come out and see what they're going to talk about. There are org cluster meetings that will be happening next week on April 11th. There's one at 4 p.m. for the academic org, and April 13th for the honors org. So I'm going to try to make it out to both of them and just try to keep in contact with the orgs. That's about it.
Questions and comments for the senator?
Actually, yeah.
Yes.
I was just wondering for those meetings if they've discussed, I haven't been able to make them, if they've discussed funding needed from like UC-wide from like the regions for the additional influx of students coming this next year. I think it's around like 800 or 900 new students.
I don't think it's actually talked about where the funding's coming from yet. No, right? Yeah. So I think that's what this meeting's going to be about. He's going to talk about where funding's coming from and how it's going to be allocated on that. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, thank you.
Any last comments or questions for the senator? Seeing none, Senator Quintaro.
Tamika Smith-Jones, the athletic director, will come by next week to see how ASUCR can help athletics in terms of marketing and awareness and bringing more exposure to the games, especially this spring quarter. And I'm going to be with her beforehand so we can discuss some logistics and stuff like that we can already start doing now before she comes in next Wednesday. So I'm pretty happy about that. I know I said that she was supposed to come the first week, but she was on vacation, so she's going to come next week for sure. And then I talked on the phone with Cheryl Gardner. She's the head of dining, as you talk about my resolution, and they said that they have been looking into putting like more macronutrient and caloric information in that, but that the process would take more than 6 months. But I told her if there's any immediate changes we can do now, so I am going to meet with her next week to discuss those immediate changes that we can implement, at least during the summer, for like those people that do come here for like the summer programs and all that, because there is a lot of people that do come from macros, and that is it for my report.
Thank you. For your first item you talked about, someone coming next Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm going to take this as official agenda request. Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. Can you message me or email me their name and how much do you want them to talk for?
Okay.
Cool. Any comments, questions for the senator?
I get my time to volunteer.
Sure.
What are macros?
Macronutrients are our protein, carbs, and fats. That's where you get your calories from. For example, when you look at a nutritional information like scale, like you'll see like protein like 10 grams, and 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So that would be 40 calories. So like it's like for example like a Quest bar is 9 grams of fat, 20 grams of protein, and 22 grams of carbs. So 9 grams of fat times 9, because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, and 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So you just add up the math, and that's where you get your calories from that.
So you add that all together?
So yeah, you add that all together in one day, and then if you're trying to lose weight, you go negative 500 each day throughout the week. It's 3,500 calories, and that makes you lose 2 pounds every week, which is efficient and healthy as well.
Losing 2 pounds is more like building.
Oh, well, you can do that too. Like you just have to add 500 calories to like your maintenance level. There's a lot of things you
I'm sure there is, Senator.
Yeah.
Is there any of those questions, comments for you, Senator?
Or I had two things. One, did they say why it would take 6 months?
Yeah, she said because they want to hire nutritionists first, but then that doesn't really make sense because you don't really need a nutritionist if like nutritional information is already like included and labeled on the foods they receive. But they just wanted to hire a nutritionist. So yeah.
Senator.
The health center already has a nutrition.
No, but they wanted one for dining, just for dining. I don't know what they wanted. I could bring that up to them.
Sounds like you got time. Last comments, questions for the last senator.
Backers are made up. Will you?
Let's move on back to new business, the Highlander newspaper referendum. The Senate shall discuss the action Highlander newspaper referendum. Any chance there's anyone here who? Perfect. It is the page 4 on the preview packet has emailed out. If you have in mind, do you want me to read the resolution, the resolve, and go from there? Do you want to read the resolve yourself, or? As per custom, usually the resolution actually assume that whereas are reserved or already read and just be resolved. Let it be resolved that the student body of the University of California, Riverside, and the editorial board of Highlander newspaper recognize the need to increase student funding to the Highlander newspaper for their programs to enlighten and awareness in the campus community as a whole. The ballot language, I'll skip forward to that part, shall read and to be approved. The Highlander News Referendum, HNR, is an effort set forth by the editorial board of the Highlander newspaper aimed at securing the funds needed to sustain and improve the services provided by the Highlander newspaper in order to progress student life and overall campus community. The proposed quarterly increase of $2, including the summer, raising the total Highlander newspaper fee to $4 per quarter per undergrad student will allow for the formation of new jobs for students and generation of more content important to the University of California, Riverside. Parliamentarian, would you mind bringing up? And the introduction, of course, and the funding oversight is, of course, in the preview packet, and then Jen, the floor.
Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of why we're asking for this and everything.
Would you not mind clarifying your name, please?
Oh, yes, sorry. Crystal, editor-chief of the Highlander newspaper. So yeah, we're asking for an additional $2, which would make our quarterly fee $4. We used to, in the past, rely very heavily on ads, but the printed ads and everything, that advertising's gone down. So it's made our funding kind of hard to sustain. Like being an entirely student-run paper, it's just made things a bit harder. So we'd like to kind of have our student fee be more stable so that we're able to use advertising, whatever we get from advertising, on like more temporary costs like transportation for training and like our conferences or like updating computers and like software and stuff like that. We're also working on like immediately trying to expand certain departments within the paper. So we just got a marketing coordinator and she kind of helps us with our online presence and like social media and stuff like that. And so we're seeing that that's a lot more important in like, you know, increasing our presence and everything. So we'd like to expand that department, get more interns, and have more students working with us in that way. We'd also like to expand our video department. So we need more like equipment, more like editors, videographers. Right now we have a video editor and he has people, you know, helping him every now and then, but we'd like to like increase the amount of people doing that so that we're also able to kind of like be more out there and have students more aware of what we're doing, because right now sometimes that's just not always the case, and I've talked to people who like don't even know we exist. So that's one of the main things that we're really trying to focus on. We'd also like to like have an app that's again like awareness, things like that. So one of the other things we'd like to focus on is like getting more training for like senior staff, people who are already working really heavily with the paper. Like we don't have a journalism program here, like this is the only outlet for students. And that can be a good and bad thing, like sometimes we're just out doing our own thing and that's really cool, but also like we don't have the support of like a lot of advisors, certain things like that. So like this is one way of like sending our editorial board to more like training and like conferences and stuff like that. That can be really helpful.
And we'd also like to have someone to help our business manager, maybe like an advertisement design manager who can also help with ads that could also hopefully help us with the ad sales that have been like declining and things like that. So that's generally why we're trying to shoot for this and have this happen. And
Any questions or comments for the ex officio?
It's more for the end. No one else to say it. Yeah, I'll just. Okay, so this is mostly just a few comments. So I think like journalism and like newspapers and that thing are very good for informing the student body and for holding public officials accountable in terms of reporting all we're doing and making sure that people are informed. But I dislike the Highlander a lot, and I don't know if we've ever gotten that vibe, because it seems to me that a lot of times there's been misinformation that's been intentionally fed due to a lot of people's personal biases against different people in offices. There's been a lot of situations where there was misinformation that was delivered, and some of them, like our names and positions are on our plaques, and there have been multiple instances where people's positions were gotten incorrect. And last year as well, it seems as though there was a lot, or maybe not necessarily a lot, but it seemed like there was intentional publishing of misinformation or sort of like yellow journalism tactics to stir up things and present things in such a manner that made certain individuals look bad because of dislikes or personal biases or beefs between people. So I'm absolutely in favor of journalism. I think it's a great thing, but for me personally, I wouldn't support this for the simple fact that I don't think that students are really getting effective journalism as it is now, and I don't want to put more money into a program that I don't think is effective.
Ex officio.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can personally say myself, it's never like, I mean, I know that everyone on the staff is very invested in like whatever goes on in, campus and things like that. And, personally, like I take my job very seriously. I would never try to like intentionally antagonize anyone like through an article and things like that. And I think everyone on our staff knows that. As far as, personal things that people have with each other, I mean, that's unfortunate. I would hope that nobody on our staff would like intentionally try to, tear anyone down through an article and like stuff like that. As far as managing that goes, I can do my best to like always talk to people on our staff about like trying to keep that out of things. But yeah, again, like it's just something I would hope that wouldn't happen, but yeah, I don't know. I guess what I can try to say as far as fixing that problem, as far as like misinformation, like fact checking, stuff like that, again, would be just the fact that with something like this, we can send more people to training, we can get people going to conferences that teach us more about journalism. Like I said, we don't have a program, there's not students learning from professors and like providers, stuff like that. So on that end, I guess that would be my answer, that we could hopefully be well informed and like know how to do our jobs better through this, like getting more training, things like that. But yeah.
Let's start a queue before we get too far into it. Is there anyone who wishes to talk and any questions to the ex officio? I saw the election director, I saw Senator Jackson, Senator Alcantara, Senator Bart. Yeah, you should actually Sorry. Yeah, we'll start with Senator Jackson, Senator Vargas. Senators go through call first. We'll go with Senator Alcantara, Senator Vargas. Any other senators? Move forward to Senator Pereira. Senator Pereira, the director, and then Director Yang. And we'll end with President Arano.
I'll give my time to anyone in the gallery.
Vice President Schaefer, and Senator Willis before refer the director, and then we'll give time for the gallery. Last call for. Last call? Seeing none. All right, we'll start with Jackson.
I use my time to the galley.
Anyone in the gallery? We'll start with name for the purpose of the minutes in the gallery, please.
Hi, I'm Julia.
Feel free to come up if you want.
Is it okay if I just stay here?
All good?
Cool. So just going off of that, like I've been in journalism for 2 years, and if it's with any regard or with any credibility, mistakes are inevitable in a publication. I don't think that's enough reason to not fund something. For one, we're student based. The Highlander is completely student based, and they're there at every ASUCR meeting for Senate meeting, sorry, I sound so inarticulate right now. They're there at every ASUCR Senate meeting, and I could be totally wrong, but I don't think anyone goes to the Highlander meetings. They have been there to inform people about what is going on in ASUCR, and I think it is time that we kind of be there for them as well. Mistakes are inevitable, but it shouldn't be a reason to not fund the paper. Also, submissions are open to the public. You just have to care enough to email an editor and ask if you can be included, and I haven't seen anyone from ASUCR try to submit a piece about that, so I think it goes both ways. So, thank you.
Senator Vargas. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Hi. So going off of what Julia said, I think the funding is a good idea if we work on this. It will give students an opportunity to go out of their way and expand their knowledge in something that they like to do, journalism for example, and that could potentially prevent mistakes from happening in the newspaper. So yeah, that's all I wanted to comment.
Senator Senator Alcantara.
Oh yeah. Is there a reason why your revenue is decreasing from ads, or why the ads aren't? You are getting enough ads as before.
I personally think it's just that print. Like, a lot of people like to say that journalism is just dying in general because of like no one's like picking up a newspaper and really reading it. Personally, that's why I think ads are on the decline. Just that people don't think it's worth doing it because like no one's really reading it. But yeah.
Senator Burrow.
Okay. I'm relatively in favor of increasing the budget. I would prefer it would be kind of a slower increase as to be 3. That would we see kind of improvement as we go along. I do believe that as a student org, we should be supporting the student org out there. I mean, I would like to come back to campus 10 years later and see that we have a school paper. I think all schools should have a school paper. And with an increase in budget, there'll be room for improvement. We can't expect any improvement if we don't actually give resources. So I'm more towards that, and hopefully we'll see improvement towards all different aspects. At the same time, have you guys considered online newspaper?
We do have a website.
Okay.
Yeah, and social media and things like that. So partially like expanding our marketing department will hopefully like help us.
Thank you. Moving next in queue, Senator Hoy.
Oh, are there any other members of the gallery that want to?
Just name for the minutes, please.
Okay, one more time so I can hear.
You just say your name.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm the community editor of the Highlander. I just kind of wanted to kind of repeat again, like, the Highlander is not only a voice just for our own writers, but again for the general like UCR and the community nearby. To kind of like emphasize it even more. In the opinion section, we have a letter to the editor, but this year we actually opened up to have op-eds. Op-eds are not in response to anything specifically in the paper itself, but just kind of an area where the community, UCR students, ACR members, anybody can actually put something in the paper and get their voice heard. So just kind of like, or I don't know. The reason why I decided to expand it was to actually expand communications, not only between ASUCR, ASPB, rest of the community, but the Highlander is not just for our own writers who go through it. It's not just like for all of our own writers. It's not just for me. It's not just for Crystal. It's also for everybody else. So, and I've actually already had experience with ACCR members using the op-ed as actually a version to get their voice heard. For example, President Alshin Hirano actually had an op-ed, or actually had like a piece and she was willing to work with it. I've worked with other of you guys before. I can't think of names off the top of my head because it's been a couple people. But again, please feel free to reach out. In response to the events of last year, I was not on staff, so honestly I have no ill will in regards to that, but just with that kind of knowledge of knowing that there was tension last year, this is the reason why I'm willing to open up. So please feel free to ever contact me at the Highlander at opinions@highlandernews.org to talk about op-eds. I have all guidelines and everything like that, but please feel free. Like, I'm actually would love to have more interaction with the op-eds, with letter to editors and everything like that. Such as if you see a mistake in the paper, such as in a news section, such as opinions, please feel free to contact us. We will open letters to the editors for this. Letters to the editors and op-eds are always printed and published online and on paper. So please feel free to open it. I do not want to stifle voices, even if the mistake has been seen. So thank you.
Thank you. Next on queue, Election Director Reyes.
All right, to address a couple of the points that have been brought up. The SBI, or sorry, not the SBI, sorry, the Highlander newspaper referendum has gone through all the levels required to go onto the ballot. And so ultimately, changes at this point to the language, such as changing it to $3, cannot be made. Otherwise, it would not be on the ballot this year. Further, while I can definitely share many sentiments expressed by Corey Willis, I have been personally affected by last year, and there has been, I believe, an op-ed just this year that I could point to several things that I draw issues with. Ultimately, what's presented before us is not a matter of our opinion. It's to pass this along to the students to see whether they feel that the Highlanders should have more resources to be able to expand themselves to serve them better. That's what we're looking at and discussing today. So ultimately, our emotions and our feelings, like I said, I can share many of the negative ones as well, but that's not my position, and it's not our position to make values assessments like that on this piece, on this referendum. This is to pass this along to the students.
Again, to reiterate the first part of the Dr. Reyes, the motion or the vote, if there is a motion to approve it, is just to approve, to put it, move it past the board to the ballot, and we have no authority right now to change language of the actual measure. Moving on to next person on the queue, Director Yang. Moving on to Vice President Jafro and with President Rogo.
Pass.
Yeah, wow, Melina, you like hit it right on the head. That was really good. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I think just reiterating that, you know, the people who are voting, you represent the voices of the population of UCR, not just your own personal opinions. Let's see, what else? Also, something that Crystal mentioned is that they would be using the funding that would be gained for a social media director. And I mean, you know that we all get our news sometimes off of social media, so the increase in funding can really help benefit the Highlander in the long run. And this is something that I'd really like to see the Highlander improve on in social media and utilizing their online resources. And I think providing, actually putting it on the ballot and giving students a voice for this could really help not only the students who are working tirelessly in the Highlander, but also the students who take the time to read it and those who maybe don't read it but could read it if it's on social media. That's all.
On that note, Crystal, would you want to make a closing? Executive Director, do you have a last comment?
Yeah, just want a clarification. I just wanted to make it clear that whether or not it's voted to be put on the ballot, it's still being reviewed by campus administration and UCOP. So it's your vote is pending on the results we get from them. And hopefully that won't be by, the next day or two. We're trying to push it along. So if it's not on the ballot, it means that it was not approved by UCOP, but there wasn't enough time. We're really hoping that it was.
Thank you. Crystal, would you like to make a closing comment?
I think that's about it. Yeah, just once again, this will help the editorial board down the line. So whatever happened previously, I think everyone from the Highlander here wasn't here at the last time around. So we're always switching up our staff, and this will just help everyone who ever wants to do journalism here in the future. So we just want to give an opportunity to do that.
Is there a motion?
How will we word it?
Oh, it's quite simple. I move to approve the Highland newspaper referendum to put on the 2016 ballot.
I forgot that was nothing. Help me out.
I move to put the Highlander newspaper referendum on the 2016 ballot.
Perfect, thank you. Motion by Senator Bosing. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Pereira. Is there any discussion, debate on this item? Just debate especially. Seeing no discussion or debate, we move to a vote. All in favor of putting the Highlander newspaper referendum on the ballot? Any opposed? Any abstained? Any votes 11-0? 11-1-0. 11-1-0? Yeah. Vote is 11-1-0. No mistake. And I note the referendum should be in the ballot. Moving on to committee reports. Finance Committee has no report this time as they're meeting on Friday, hopefully not at 4. LRC will be meeting tomorrow again. Remind me of the time, please.
1 p.m.
1 p.m.
In the conference.
In the conference room. Health and Wellness Committee, your report this time.
We are still waiting on the doodle poll to make sure that everyone can meet up on a specific date. But we actually had, I just wanted to let you all know that we're actually meeting with the person who actually created the bylaws. Her name is Alexandra Rodriguez. And if you all want to come, I will send you all the meeting time when that is, so you all can hear her vision about mental health and why she created the bylaws in the first place. Other than that, most of the things we're going to be doing is we want to create more of a presentation for the first years when they come in during their orientation to sort of allow them to know the resources on campus and be more well aware of all the help that encompasses during their college career.
Slight correction, the person who helped write the bylaws for the committee last year was Alejandro Perez.
Correct.
Any of those?
When did you say the meeting with her?
I'm meeting with her. I just sent her an email after Taylor sent me her email, so I will let you all know.
Cool. Any last questions or comments for the committee? Seeing none, election director, your floor.
All right, so just a bit of an update as far as what's been going on for the elections committee. We've met several times over the last couple of weeks since the beginning of elections. Fortunately, we've had all of the debates go off relatively without a hitch. Unfortunately, one day the directors, I believe, had to deal without chairs. I'm sorry for that. It was the directors, yes. I'm so sorry. Not my fault. Other than that, a bit of an update as far as violations reports and violations. There have been 24 total violations reports submitted. That's actually a lot lower than the same point in time as last year. So, I still want to highly encourage everyone to maintain good attitudes and continue leading their own campaigns with integrity. Hold each other accountable if you are in a party, or if you're not, then just keep yourself going. In addition, Elections Committee is granted through the preamble the ability to assign strikes when we first witness them firsthand, so long as we bring them back to the committee. There have been 2 incidents in which we have assigned strikes. Both of those are under appeal at this moment, and so I will not articulate details until those have been finalized.
I'm assuming that the parties, of course, were notified when they're...
Yes, and all the parties that have, or all the individuals or whatever it is, have been notified, and they're undertaking their appeals process.
If you wouldn't mind, would it be so much to clarify the process for strikes and appeals for the gals as well as the...
Sure, I'd be happy to. In elections, there are 2 different avenues for receiving strikes. One is if the Elections Committee or myself witnesses a violation firsthand, we can essentially say, stop, that was a violation, or at least I perceive it to be a violation. The individual who witnesses, it then brings it back to the Elections Committee with whatever evidence can be found. We then discuss and vote on it, and the individual is notified. They do have an appeals process. They go to Judicial Council, and there they are able to either have their appeal accepted and then the case will occur, or a hearing will occur, or it is denied, which essentially means just that Judicial Council upholds our decision in assigning those strikes. The other avenue is if a violation report is filed by an individual who witnesses a potential violation firsthand. That process, that violation report first goes to the Elections Committee, which we review it. We vote on whether we think it's a violation or not, and if it is, or if we perceive it to be, then we write an amicus curiae brief in which we explain our position to Judicial Council and forward the violation and that report to Judicial Council, who makes that first decision on whether
there will be, whether it's a strike or not, and what the severity of the punitive actions will be. Then again, the individual or the party or the group or whatever can appeal to the judicial council, who can either accept it or deny it.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the elections director? Yes, Director Yang.
What are the most common potential strikes that a lot of people file?
This year, I would say that's kind of hard because it kind of bounces around. So I really don't know how to answer that, because the main issue of, for example, last year, that's not an issue anymore.
Out of curiosity, at the top of your head, election director, what were the number of strikes this time last year?
The number of strikes assigned?
I'm just curious.
Not
signed, I mean filed.
As far as the violations reports that were filed, I would say we're probably at least at 30 to 35 by this point. Yeah. And then, yeah, I don't know how many strikes have been signed by this point.
Moving on to public comment, was there anything else in your report? And there are no comments or other questions for the election director, correct? Yes, Director Yang.
I heard both answers before, but are volunteers of a party, or are the parties accountable for the volunteers
That I would really have to say I can give a very limited answer on that, because ultimately, depending on what venue it comes from, whether it's through a violation report or whether it's a violation that we see specifically, it depends on how judicial council wants to interpret it. My personal thought is that, and this is after several years dealing and adjudicating on elections cases, sabotage is something that's very real, and there have been incidences in which individuals and parties were targeted through the use of pseudo-volunteers.
Is there any last comments, questions for the election director? Any last comments, questions at all? Seeing none, we'll move forward to public comment. This time on the agenda is for the public to comment on whatever, any matter that happened to transcribe this meeting today. Any public comment?
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph. My comment is directed towards the undie run. I see that a lot in movies and stuff like that, and I'm sure it's a college tradition, but could you explain what the cultural significance is?
Okay, or can I answer?
Of course, your floor.
So last year, the undie run was started with the hopes of getting student involvement on campus, but as well as raising awareness on homelessness and student homelessness, because it's something that does happen around us and we don't really notice it. And also to promote body empowerment and body inclusivity. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh yeah, thanks.
But yeah.
I guess also I want to further echo what Jessica and Crystal said and just say that we're open. Most of our team is different. If you see any, I know I'm guilty as a news editor of putting in someone's position as the wrong thing, and I know I did it probably during the peak of finals week, so I'm sorry if that offended anybody, but we're always open for suggestion and dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. It is well taken. Unless any other public comment at this time?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sergio Robles. I'm a second-year political science student. Just as kind of a general student speaking today, I wanted to mention two things. Actually, I'd like to applaud ASUCR's efforts for the mural restoration project. I think that's a really great idea. That's University Avenue. I'd like to actually consider it the formal way of entering UCR. So to have that restored, maybe even working with the city to get that as nice as it can be would be a great idea. Maybe even increasing the lighting there so that people can really see that at night as well. I also like Senator Willis's idea of making the front of that where it says University of California kind of pop out more. I think that's a great idea. Maybe on the other side as well where it says Riverside, so when people come off the freeway, they can see that it's Riverside with a kind of a bang. So I really like that. I also really do appreciate that the Senate has voted to have the Highlander referendum on the ballots. I, speaking as a general student, pick up the Highlander every single week and I read it, and that's where I get a lot of my information from to see what's going on around campus. And I think when people get to have that opportunity, it builds a sense of community, and that word's being thrown a lot these days, especially these weeks with elections. So I do appreciate that you consider that it's bringing a sense of community. I know for a lot of people, it's been kind of detrimental considering what happened last year. But I would like to mention that you please put your emotions aside and consider for the greater good of the university what this resource means to all students in general. I think if there are problems, they should be dealt with, but that shouldn't come at the cost of taking this resource away from students. So thank you.
Comment, Campbell, thank you. Any last comments for public comment at this time?
Hello, Senate. Thank you. My name is Dan Robles. I'm commissioner to the city's municipal airport, and I'm also a state park volunteer at the city's Citrus State Historic Park. The point I'd like to make today is in regard to Corey Willis' efforts to restore the university mural. I applaud those efforts as well as my brother made earlier. I believe we should take further interest to restore all of the art committed to our university. I'd just like to share my opinion in favor towards restoration of the mural and keeping it in its current state. As a state parks volunteer, I teach visitors about the history of this city. I'm a lifelong resident of the city, born and raised, and I believe that mural captures every point in history of the city of Riverside and the culture of the UCR. I can go down that mural and I can, with any of you, and I can tell a pretty good story about the city's history and as well as UCR's. So I believe at the mural's inception, there was a great vision envisioned with that mural, and I think it'll only develop a more rich history as time goes on. Thank you.
And that's public comment this time. Seeing none, we're going to move forward on the agenda to roundtable announcements. We will start on the left side. President Romano.
Pass.
Judicial.
Pass.
Director.
If any of you have projects that are fairly big and would like the interns to get involved, please let me know so I can forward the message to the intern and hopefully get them involved. And also, I plan on making lemon bars next week if anyone would like to hold me accountable.
Director.
Pass.
I just want to say, great seeing y'all again, and good luck to all those who are in the elections.
So once again, Amazing College Race is this Sunday. If you all want to get the team together, the prize is scholarship money, so that's pretty awesome. But it's also nice for you all to come down to downtown Riverside and do different tasks, be able to experience the beautifulness of UCR and its community as well. So if you are interested, please do sign up. Today's the last day, so let me know.
To clarify,
Yes.
how much scholarship and
I think they're still determining right now because they're still receiving more and more donations from the community as well as the different universities. So each university actually donated amount to the Mayor's College Forum for this specific race. It's from 8 to 9 is registration. It's until 1 p.m. You'll hear the mayors speak. You'll also be able to interact with them. And also the different mascots will be attending. All the universities around Riverside, they'll all be there. They'll be attending. And it'd be really nice for us to get our face out there and also meet the different universities here in Riverside.
For our mock Senate meeting, I'm requiring all the interns and fellows that attend to help co-author or author 2 resolutions, and then it'll pass to a mock Senate meeting. There will be a second date added to that, but what I was getting at is that if any of you are working on current resolutions, please feel free to, kind of like what Emily said, just tag on an intern. That way they kind of learn more about the process, but definitely we're trying to switch from learning parliamentary procedures to learning writing legislation, for mock Senate meeting. Let's not get that pass.
Senators, will you please send my chief staff, Lena, or myself your office hours so we can put it to the front desk. And also ECAB, if you want to send an office hours to Ashley to the front desk, that'd be cool too. Lastly, Senator Sunger, Senator Willis, Alcantara, Bosin, Jackson, Lopez, Zuna, Pura, and Talley. Would you mind emailing me, or actually emailing the Senate Secretary reports for this weekend, as for every other week that we have Senate reports, please? It makes it easier to send to the public as well as to post in the minutes. And that includes my announcement, which wasn't an announcement, but.
Bless you.
Senate Secretary, do you want to say anything? Say that.
I just want to thank the Robles brothers for your comments. If you haven't already responded to the survey that I sent out, please do and input everything.
I tried to right now, but I think it wouldn't let me. Is it still available? Or
Yeah, it's still open. I'm going to use your R-mail, so if you're using a different account, you have to, it collects the R-mail. So
okay.
It should still be open. If not, I'll double check that right now, I'll let you know.
Thanks.
And then, yeah, Emily's lemon on the fire.
How many do you
All right, next.
Pass.
It's week 2, so midterm are coming up soon, so looking to study, and that's all.
Angelica Tan, the chair of the Academic Affairs Committee, asked me to announce something. She's in collaboration with the Professor Chikako Takashita to raise awareness for faculty adoption of open source textbooks. They are in the process of convincing faculty to adopt open source textbooks and replace it with, replace commercial textbooks with open source textbooks. And so throughout the year, classes have already been in the process of transitioning into open source textbooks, Psych 2, Business 134, History 20, Chem 1CH. And the next step is to get student involvement, and so the Academic Affairs Committee will be, is in the process of creating a new committee just for affordable course materials initiative. And so that's really exciting. Other than that, if you have any questions, talk to Angelica. She's meeting with Professor Chikako Takashita next week, and she would love to have Senator support.
Senator Wilson.
Senator Jackson. That's okay. I forgot to mention during my Senate report, but conference committee planning times are every Thursday at 3 p.m. So we will meet tomorrow for the Beyond Our Margins conference at 3 p.m. in the ASUCR conference. So it's open to all. We appreciate your suggestions. Thank you.
Vice President General Affairs.
Yeah, I forgot to mention in my report, the senators that usually make my executive meetings can't make it, so it would be great if any of you can make it Fridays at 1 o'clock. I would love to see some senators sitting on that committee. The College Gems Club is having Jose Medina speak next week, if you all want to come out to that. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Academic Senate. So I don't know if you all are sitting on committees for those, but it's super important to have student representation on them. I'm really excited to announce that I just found out that the gender studies requirement has gone through the next step of the approval process, passed by an ad hoc committee specifically on approving that. So it's super exciting. And that's
Next.
Sorry.
and yeah, and
No, next.
Next week.
Like week 4?
I apologize. It's
Yeah.
next week.
I believe I didn't miss anybody. Then only next item. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
I move to
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Senator Child move
Second.
to adjourn this meeting. Is there a second? Second by Senator Willis. Any no objections?